Evening Standard 6. So once again I'm before you. This is the second video I'm going to share with you. In my first video, which is about the chapter continents and oceans, I had already shared about the continents and landforms, their types, formations and vitality. Now in the second video I'm going to cover up the topics like water bodies, other types of water bodies and vitality of water bodies. So students, now let just turn page number 29. Come to water bodies. More than 97% of Earth's water is found in the ocean, but it is too salty for human use. Only 3% is available as fresh water for human beings. Yes, there would be a question in your mind that if our Earth is covered of three-fourth part of the Earth is covered of water, 97% of water is coming from ocean and sea, then why there is a scarcity of water? See students, there is no doubt that our earth is having the large part of the earth is covered of water. Okay, and the water bodies which are present on this earth, they all are the part of hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means the water section of the earth. Okay, the water sphere of the earth. Hydro means simply water. Okay, so this water part of the earth, it covers the three-fourth part of the earth's surface, and as large part of the earth is covered of water, that's why our earth is even known as blue planet. Now this 97% of water which is coming from your ocean and seas, that is very salty in taste. Okay, it is not fit for drinking. Only 3% of fresh water is available to us. Okay, that we get from different sources like your rivers, ponds, underground water and other sources. Now let's come to oceans, the second part. See, the huge water bodies on the surface of the earth are called oceans. All the oceans of the world are interconnected with each other. The five major oceans according to their size are the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, Southern Ocean and Arctic Ocean. See students, how these oceans came into existence. Already I have discussed with you that about the Panthalassa. Panthalassa was actually a Greek word which was used for the term all seas. Okay, so as all the lands were locked together, all these five major oceans which you are seeing today, whether that is Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Southern Ocean, these all five oceans were also locked together, okay, in the form of one major sheet that was known as Panthalassa. Now these ocean, how with the external and internal forces, now these oceans also moved away from each other and they assumed the present sea. See, the search of new lands inspired men to travel long distances, and due to this age of exploration, man became familiar with the new lands. He discovered new lands like America was discovered by Columbus. In the meanwhile, he also conquered large water bodies. Okay, and these large water bodies which are present on the earth's surface, they are known as oceans. And all these five oceans, they all are interconnected to each other. What are these five major oceans? According to the size, they are, the first one is your Pacific Ocean, after that Atlantic Ocean, then Indian Ocean, fourth one is your Southern Ocean, and the smallest one is your Arctic Ocean. Now please turn page number 32. Come to page number 32. I will just show you here. If you will look in the map, you will see whether that is Pacific Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Southern Ocean or your Indian Ocean, all these, or Atlantic Ocean. All these oceans are interconnected to each other. You can just have a look. These all oceans are interconnected to each other. Now let's come to the first ocean, that is your Pacific Ocean. See, I will not go for line by line reading. I'm just going to explain you. Just listen properly. See, Pacific Ocean, it is the largest as well as the deepest ocean in the world. If you will compare with the other four oceans, it is the largest one and the deepest ocean on the earth. And it covers one third of the earth's surface. Basically, if you will move to the shape of Pacific Ocean, you will see it is circular in shape. Pacific Ocean is circular in shape. And this ocean extends from Arctic Ocean in the north to the Southern Ocean in the south. Pacific Ocean in the north, it extends from Arctic Ocean in the north to the Southern Ocean in the south, and it is bounded on the west by Asia and Australia and on the east by North and South America. See, this ocean is the deepest ocean, as I had mentioned. So especially the northern part of the Pacific Ocean, it is very deep. Okay, so here you will find the deep parts of this ocean. It is known as trenches or deeps. Okay, the deep parts of the ocean has been given the name trenches or deeps. So in Pacific Ocean only you will find the deepest point, which is found, the deepest point of the earth is your Mariana Trench. The deepest point of the earth which is located on the earth's surface is located in the Mariana Trench, and this Mariana Trench is in your Pacific Ocean. Not only this ocean is having, this Pacific Ocean, it is having maximum number of active volcanoes of the world. If you will move to the coastal margins of the Pacific Ocean, you will find there is a zone. Okay, there is a zone which is having the most active volcanoes of the world, and that has been given the name Ring of Fire. Now, see, let's come to Atlantic Ocean. Now, let's come to the second ocean. The second largest ocean is your Atlantic Ocean. Okay, and this ocean, if I talk about its location, it is in ash-shaped basin. Okay, and it extends from North America and South America in the west, and Eurasia and Africa in the east. Now this ocean, it is very vital from the trade and commerce point of view. Why? Because it has many natural harbors and ports, which makes it one of the busiest ocean in the world. So this one is the busiest ocean in the world, and it is roughly half of the size of Pacific Ocean. So from trade and commerce point of view, this ocean is very important. Now let's come to the third ocean, that is your Indian Ocean. Now this is the only ocean which has been named after a country. Yes, only ocean in the world which has been named after a country. And it is the third largest ocean in the world, which which gives us 20% of the water present on the earth's surface. And this, if we talk about the shape of the Indian Ocean, it is triangular in shape. Okay, and if we talk about the extension of this ocean in the north, if we talk about to the north of the Indian Ocean, you will see that the continents like Asia, and to the west there is Africa, and to the east is Australia. The Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal are also very two important parts of this ocean. It is the warmest ocean in the world. So if you compare it with the other oceans, it is the warmest ocean in the world. Just turn page number 32 in the map I am showing you about the extension of this Indian Ocean. See, if we talk about the Indian Ocean, you will see just here Indian Ocean is lying, and here your Bay of Bengal. You are seeing here India. Here in the eastern part of India there is Bay of Bengal, and in the western part of India there is Arabian Sea, and these two are the major parts of your Indian Ocean. Okay, and if you are seeing here, just see the eastern part. In the eastern part of Indian Ocean there is Africa. In the eastern part there is sorry students, it is not, it is east, not, it is west. Here it is east. Okay, here it is north, here it is south. So to the northern part you are seeing just Asia, the continent of Asia lies. To the western part Africa lies, and to the eastern part Australia lies. So Indian Ocean is the ocean which is located here. Bay of Bengal, which is located in the eastern part of India, and Arabian Sea, which is located in the Bay of Bengal, which is located in the eastern part of India, and Arabian Sea, which is located in the western part of India. They are the major parts of Indian Ocean. Apart from this, to the western side Africa, the continent of Africa lies. In the northern side the continent of Asia lies, and in the eastern side the continent of Australia lies. Okay, so now from the map it would be more clear to you. Let's come to the fourth ocean, that is your Southern Ocean or Antarctic Ocean. See, before the year 2000, there were only 4 oceans. Okay, this Southern Ocean, it was added in the year 2000 by the International Hydrographic Organization. This organization is which looks after the water and water bodies. This organization has it had added Southern Ocean, or even the other name of this ocean is your Antarctic Ocean. It had added Southern Ocean or Antarctic Ocean to the list of major oceans in the world, and in this way now there are 5 major oceans. Now if we talk about it is the southern, about its location, it is the southernmost ocean of the world. So if you just have a look, if you will see there in the North Pole and the South Pole. In the South Pole, it is located in the southernmost point. Okay, and it consists of southern portions of 3 oceans, and the 3 oceans are Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Atlantic Ocean. So all these 3, the southern part of all these 3 oceans, they lie beyond the Antarctic Circle from the Southern Ocean. That I am making you clear. Just have a look here in this diagram. Here it is the South Pole. Here it is your Southern Ocean. All the 3 major oceans, southern part it is in this. Just have a look. Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and Pacific Ocean. So the southern part of all these 3 major oceans, they lie beyond the Antarctic Circle from the Southern Ocean. Okay, just have a look in this diagram. Now let's come to the last one, that is your Antarctic Circle. This ocean, Arctic Ocean, it is the 5th ocean, and it is surrounded by the northern parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. It is the shallowest and the smallest of all the 5 major oceans. If you compare with the other oceans of the world, it is the smallest one as well as the shallowest one. This ocean is connected to the Pacific Ocean also by a narrow stretch of shallow water known as Bering Strait. Okay, what is a strait? What is this strait? See, strait is actually a narrow body of water connecting two large bodies of water. Here, this Bering Strait is actually, it is a narrow body of water which is connecting two large water bodies, the Arctic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And this ocean, it is covered of ice throughout the year. Like your continent of Antarctica, it is also covered of ice throughout the year. So it's very cold. Okay. So now 5 major oceans are over. Now let's come to other water bodies. Next one is your seas. See, a sea is a body of saline water that is a part of the ocean. Basically, a sea is a large body of saline water that may be connected with an ocean. Okay, that may be attached to an ocean. But it is smaller and shallower in comparison of your oceans. Now, seas are usually located close to the edge of a landmass or continent, or are attached to a continent. So you will find some of the seas are very close to the edge of a landmass or a continent. So examples are like your Caribbean Sea, Red Sea, Arabian Sea, South China Sea, and Baltic Sea. Just you have a look. If you will just have a look here, you will see here there is Arabian Sea in India. It is India. In the western side of India, you're in Gujarat here, see, there is Gujarat and the other states. So ultimately, Arabian Sea, which is located in the western part of India, it is actually located very near to the landmass. That is why you will see many of the sea, it is not only with the Arabian Sea, even many of the sea, they are very close to the landmass or a continent. And among Arabian, apart from Arabian Sea, there are some other seas also, like your Caribbean Sea, Red Sea, South China Sea, Baltic Sea. Let's come to bays and gulfs. What are bays? Bays are actually, it is a water body. You can say bay is a water body which is surrounded by land on three sides and has a wider opening than the total length. And what is your gulf? If you compare it with gulf, gulf is a water body which is surrounded by land from three sides and has a larger length and narrower opening. So bay, it has wider opening while the gulf has a narrow opening, and gulf is larger than bay. Okay, if you compare the size of bays and gulf, you will find gulf are larger in comparison of the bays. Now, what are the examples? See, Bay of Bengal, the Hudson Bay, the Baffin Bay, the Bay of Biscay. These are the examples of bays. While what are the examples of Gulf? Persian Gulf, Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Aden, Gulf of Bothnia. These are some of the examples of gulfs. Now, let's come to lakes. Lakes are actually the small water bodies. You can say that it is a small water body which is surrounded by land on all sides. Okay. And large lakes with saline water, they are known as inland seas. What are inland seas? The large lakes with saline water. And example is some of the example of your inland seas are Black Sea, Aral Sea, Caspian Sea. Now, there are some big lakes also, like your Lake Baikal, Lake Balkash, Lake Superior, and Lake Vallur. The largest lake, which is enclosed inland water body, is your Caspian Sea. Okay, it is the largest lake. Now, largest lake by the volume of water as well as the deepest lake is your Lake Baikal. Now, let's come to lagoons. What are lagoons? Lagoon is a shallow body of water separated from sea by a sand bank or a coral reef. So it is a part of a sea. You can say it is a small water body, a shallow body of water which is separated from a sea because of the sandbank or a coral reef. Okay. Now, Lake Chilka in Odisha, it is the finest example of a lagoon. Please underline this also. Now, let's come to rivers. What are rivers? See, a river is a stream of water that flows in a channel down the slope of the land, pulled by the force of gravity, and finally flows into a lake or sea. Just underline it. I will just give you a simple definition. That is, what is a river? A river is actually a channel of water which flows from a highland to lowland, and finally it goes into a lake or a sea. Okay, and although tributary is not mentioned, but again I am just giving you a brief knowledge of this. See, a tributary is simply a small river which joins a large river. Like there are many tributaries of river Ganga in India, like Yamuna and other tributaries. So tributaries are simply the small river which joins the large river. Now, the place where the river originates is called its source. Yes. See, what is the source? Suppose your river Ganga, it originates from the glacier Gangotri. So that is the source. Okay. So the place from where the river originates, that is the source of a river. And the place where the river ends its journey, it is called the mouth of the river. Yes. Suppose your Ganga river or the other large rivers, when they flow into the Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal, their journey ends. So that is the mouth of the river. That is called the mouth of the river. So what is mouth of the river? Simply the place where the river lasts its journey or ends its journey. Okay. Now let's come to estuaries. What are these estuaries? See, actually these are the funnel shaped single channel openings at the mouth of the river, which is partially enclosed body of water along the coast. Okay, and here what happens, actually your fresh water from the rivers or streams, they meets and mixes up with the salty water from the ocean. So you can say it is the meeting point of the fresh water and the salty water. Okay, because the fresh water which the river is carrying, they get mixed up with the salty water of the ocean. Now they have a very deep mouth, strong tidal currents, and no deposition. So what are the features of estuaries? They are having a very deep mouth, there is a presence of strong tidal currents, and there is no depositional activities of the river. Narmada and Tapi, or the rivers, these rivers, they form the estuaries. Okay, just underline this. There can be a question from this. Name the rivers which form the estuaries. Now let's come to the final topic, that is about the importance of water bodies. So before moving to that, I would like to just mention you that all these water bodies which I had discussed with you, please just go through it once again, so that there can be clarity, the points can be more clear to you. Now, water is very important part of our existence. We cannot survive without water, there is no doubt in this. See, as I have mentioned you that even you will see that nowadays there are many awareness programs and campaigns are going on to make people aware, because already we are facing the scarcity of water. So please just have attention here, because you are the future generation. It's very important for you also to learn. See, anything which is very much related to our life, that we are getting in these books, so don't take it just as a topic, please try to relate it with. Now I'm going to discuss about the vitality of water bodies, how water bodies are important to us. See, these water bodies, whether that is your ocean or the other types of water bodies, also maybe a river or your seas, whatever, they all provide, they are very important because they provide us various means of transport. Okay, there is no doubt that waterways are also one of the means of transport, and it is the oldest means of transport. Not only this, the oceans, they provide the natural links between the continents. I have shown you already in the map that how oceans had tried, they help in establishing the link between the continents. Not only this, even the water bodies, they help in encouraging trade and commerce, because you know that trade and commerce is not it is an activity, it is an economic activity which is not limited to a particular region or a country, but nowadays we are having international trade where one country is trading with the another country, with the other countries of the world. So ultimately, without these water bodies, we cannot have a effective trade and commerce system. So they play a very vital role in the trade and commerce, in encouraging the trade and commerce between the countries and the continents. Now, next one. They are very great source of petroleum, natural gas, salt, other minerals and chemicals. Yes, it's very true. From these oceans or seas or other water bodies, we get us, they are the source of petroleum, they provide us natural gas, they provide us salt, they provide us, they are houses of the minerals and other chemicals. Now, next one. The presence of oceans moderates the temperature in the coastal areas. Yes, it's very true. See, if you will move to Mumbai, which is located near the sea, or if you move to Chennai, which is also located near the sea, so here you will find the climate is very moderate, and that happens because why? Because see, your land, it takes up time to heat up, or it cools down, it doesn't cools down easily, but it is not with the water. Okay, so these land areas which are located near the water bodies or near the seas, these seas plays a very important role in moderating the temperature of the place. That's why in the temperature or the climatic condition of these regions which are located near the sea, you will find that it is a very moderate type. Next one. They are the source of seafood like fish, some marine creatures, and some seaweeds serve as animal feed and also as fertilizer. It is very true. See, fish, it is an important part of the non-veg, and many people, especially the people who are located near the water body areas, whether that is the place which is located near the sea or the coast, people living in the coastal areas, they have the their major source of food comes from your seafoods, or they get food from the sea. So ultimately these water bodies plays a very vital role in providing the food to the people. Even sometimes they also act as a fertilizers. Now, next one, the last one. They are a storehouse of tidal energy. Tidal and waves are can be harnessed to generate power, and it's very common also nowadays in many of the countries. They are using the tidal energy to harness the electricity to generate the power. So from where we get this tidal energy? These seas and oceans, these are the major storehouse of the tidal energy. So I hope students there is no confusion in this. Please mark it very important. Please go through it. Very important. Okay. Now the chapter is over. See, I have given all the question answers. I have given this time your simple exercises like fill up the blanks, name the following, everything I had mentioned. Okay, I have given. So please note it down in your copy, and this time I hope when I will go for the correction work, I will get the whole work in your copy. So please don't disappoint me. Now thank you, and the chapter is over. I hope I will be soon available with the next video. Thank you, students.